The Galactic Council chamber shimmered with light. It was a vast amphitheater of polished silver and crystal, banners of hundreds of alien nations waving high. From the balconies, delegates of insectoid empires, reptilian dynasties, and soft-skinned aquatic species all stared at one figure walking out of the circle. It was the envoy of Earth. Human Ambassador Mara Saeed stood tall, her face unreadable. For days, she had argued for peace, for equal rights, for Earth to be treated as more than a backwater colony. But every word had been mocked. Every request laughed at. The final insult came when the Avar High Speaker called Earth's people fragile primates unworthy of stars. Mara said nothing. She only gathered her papers, bowed once, and walked out in silence. For a long moment, the chamber was still. Then, the laughter began. The humans leave, one delegate jeered. They cannot stand the Council's truth, shouted another. They are weak. They are nothing. They have no fleets, no armies, no history of empire. The chamber roared with approval. And then, the Speaker of War stood. His scaled body glittered under the lights, his eyes sharp and cruel. Let this farce end, he said. Humanity has wasted our time. They reject our terms. Then we reject their existence. A vote began. Holograms flickered as the decision spread through the chamber. One by one, alien empires cast their choice. War against Earth. The final tally blazed above the chamber, overwhelming approval. The Council had declared war. The moment the decision was sealed, alien admirals across the galaxy cheered. In their minds, Earth was nothing. A primitive world. A soft green planet with no fleets large enough to resist. Crushing them would be swift. A lesson to all others. But not all in the chamber shared that joy. From the shadows, a few old species stayed silent. They remembered rumors. Strange reports from explorers who had visited Sol centuries ago. The stories whispered of storms, of predators, of a world where everything tried to kill its own children. A death world. But their warnings were ignored. The chamber erupted in celebration. 100 banners rose. The declaration of war was final. While the Council cheered, far from their shining spires, in the dark orbit above Earth, engines rumbled. Admiral Marcus Hale stood on the command deck of the UNS Resolute. His face was carved with lines of war, his eyes steady. Before him stretched Earth's secret. Not one ship. Not 10. Hundreds. Colossal warships drifted in silence, their black hulls painted with the crest of Earth. Battlecruisers, carriers, stealth destroyers, each one forged in secret beneath Earth's oceans, in caverns of the moon, in hidden dockyards beyond Mars. The Council thought Earth was weak. They were wrong. Signal received, Admiral, an officer said. The Council has voted. War is declared. Hale's jaw tightened. Then we show them, he answered. His voice was calm, like iron. Prepare the fleet. All across orbit, lights flickered on. The sleeping giants of Earth's armada awoke. The ships were different from alien designs. Where Council fleets were elegant and adorned with gold, human warships were brutal and practical, thick armor, massive cannons, railguns longer than city towers, missile bays bristling like teeth. Inside, soldiers prepared. Men and women in armored suits checked their weapons, silent and focused. They were not born on soft worlds. They had grown on Earth, through storms, through wars, through disasters. Each human soldier carried the strength of survival itself. Back in the Council chamber, a murmur rose. Strange signals were detected near Sol. Long-range sensors picked up energy spikes, massive in scale. The Speaker of War frowned. What is this? An aide stumbled in, eyes wide with fear. Unidentified fleets are leaving Earth's orbit, enormous fleets. They are human ships. The chamber froze. Impossible, someone hissed. Humans have no such power, cried another. But the readings were clear. Hundreds of ships. Unknown classes. War engines on a scale never registered. The laughter that had filled the chamber died. The banners of victory seemed to tremble in the air. And then, a final report came in. Council Admirals, the human fleet, it has set a course. Straight into our space. Silence. The alien leaders, once arrogant and mocking, now stared at each other in disbelief. For the first time in centuries, fear touched their eyes. In orbit of Earth, Admiral Hale turned to his crew. Transmit to all ships, he ordered. The Council declared war. They wanted to see what humanity is. Now, they will. Engines roared. Giant ships, black against the stars, moved as one. A fleet born in secret, sharpened in silence, now unleashed. Humanity was coming, the last shot, alien admirals receiving the first blurred images of Earth's warships. Massive, dark, and bristling with weapons unknown to the galaxy. Their faces twist in horror as a single thought chills the chamber. We may have made the greatest mistake in our history. The alien fleet entered the Sol system with confidence. Hundreds of warships in polished formation, banners of the Council glowing proudly on their hulls. Commanders laughed over open comms, their voices arrogant. This will be over in days, hissed Admiral's Wrath of the Kair. His reptilian snout curled into a sneer. We will shatter their pitiful defenses and burn their world. Humanity will learn what it means to defy the Council. Scouts surged ahead, expecting to find only orbital stations and a handful of clumsy human frigates. But what they found froze their blood. At the edge of Earth's orbit, black silhouettes drifted in silence. The first scout ship slowed, its sensors struggling. Unidentified contacts, dozens, no, hundreds, the pilot whispered. His voice cracked as the shapes grew larger on the screen. Then, the shadows lit up. Colossal warships turned to face them, engines rumbling like thunder. Their hulls were dark, unadorned, brutal in design. They carried no banners, no symbols of pride, only the crest of Earth, painted stark white against black steel. These were not fragile defense ships. These were war machines. The alien pilot trembled. These readings, they're impossible. Their mass, their size. The feed cut to static. In the command chamber of the Council fleet, silence fell as the last transmission replayed. Massive vessels. Energy readings beyond Council records. Admiral's Wrath slammed a clawed fist against the console. Tricks. They cannot build ships like this. Humanity has no resources, no shipyards. But his words held no weight. The images were undeniable. Behind the great blue orb of Earth, an armada waited. On the flagship UNS Resolute, Admiral Marcus Hale stood before a wide viewport. Beyond the glass stretched humanity's secret fleet. For years, Earth had hidden its strength. While the Council mocked them, humans dug deeper. Industries moved underground, factories hidden in lunar craters, shipyards disguised within asteroid belts. Every insult, every humiliation, had fueled their resolve. Now, the galaxy would see what humanity had built in silence. Hale's voice was calm, steady. Signal the fleet. Form phalanx formation. Weapons live. At once, the black giants shifted. Carriers extended their wings, destroyers slid into protective lines, battleships rotated, bringing colossal cannons into position. A silent storm gathered around Earth. Inside the ships, human soldiers stood ready. Young men and women strapped on armor, helmets snapping shut. Their eyes burned with fire, but not with fear. They had been trained for this moment, raised on a world where survival itself was war. Every soldier knew the truth: if Earth fell, humanity fell. There was no retreat. The alien fleet drew closer, slowing as their commanders argued. "This must be bluff," snarled one reptilian officer. "No, look at the scans," murmured another, his voice trembling. "Their energy output, it dwarfs ours." And then, the human fleet moved. The UNS Titan, a massive dreadnought longer than any Council flagship, lit its engines. The The shockwave rippled through space, its wake rattling the alien ship's sensors. Behind it, destroyers flared to life, stealth cruisers vanishing into cloaks, carriers unfolding wings like vast predators. The Council commanders felt something they had never felt before. Fear. From the Council's long-range command hub, the Speaker of War stared at the live feed. His scaled skin went pale. This cannot be. No world of their size, no young species, could build this. But reality stared back at him. Humanity's warships filled the void, engines blazing, hulls bristling with weapons the Council had never catalogued. And they were moving straight toward alien space. On the Resolute, Admiral Hale gave his order. Transmit message to all Council channels. The comms officer nodded and pressed a switch. Across the stars, every alien fleet and every Council world heard the same voice. Admiral Hale's voice was calm, almost cold. You declared war. Humanity accepts. Now you will see what that means. In the alien fleet, panic erupted. Admirals shouted over each other, orders colliding, formations breaking. Some captains begged to retreat, others demanded to fight. But before they could decide, the humans made their move. The UNS Titan's cannons charged, glowing with energy. Railguns locked onto alien dreadnoughts. Missile bays opened, rows upon rows of warheads gleaming in the void. The Council fleet stared in horror. And then, the first human ship advanced. A single human warship, the UNS Titan, ignites its weapons and accelerates directly toward the heart of the alien fleet. The last shot shows alien commanders frozen in shock as they realize the humans are not waiting for defense, they are coming to strike first. The Council chamber was no longer filled with laughter. Where once the alien delegates mocked and jeered, now they sat in silence, eyes fixed on the reports streaming across the hollow screens. Images of colossal black warships. Sensor readings of weapon yields beyond anything in Council archives. Footage of disciplined human soldiers preparing for combat. The Speaker of War's voice cracked as he demanded, How? How could they build this in secret? Who supplied them? A scientist from the Zell Confederacy trembled as he answered. No one supplied them. They did this alone. The humans, they hid their strength. Gasps filled the chamber. They built fleets the Council never recorded. In complete silence? Without trade, without aid? The whispers turned to fear. At the center of the Council's intelligence hub, analysts opened sealed archives. Files long buried under unverified rumors were dragged into the light. The words burned on the screen, Deathworld, Earth. The aliens read in horror. Earth was not a gentle cradle like their own worlds. It was a storm-racked, predator-filled sphere where survival was war. Earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes, freezing winters, burning summers, its people were forged by violence itself. Every human was born on a battlefield. Every child grew against gravity stronger than most species could endure. Every soldier had survived trials that would kill others. It was not a world that produced weakness. It was a world that demanded strength, or death. One Council elder whispered, We have not declared war on a people. We have declared war on a planet that breeds warriors. Meanwhile, aboard the UNS Titan, human soldiers prepared in silence. Sergeant Elena Ruiz checked her rifle, her armored gloves tightening on the weapon. Around her, young recruits sat, faces calm but determined. They think we are weak, Ruiz said quietly. They think they can break us. But we are Earthborn. We do not break. We fight. The recruits nodded. There was no boasting, no arrogance. Only certainty. The doctrine of humanity was simple, unity. Sacrifice. Victory. Unlike alien armies, humans did not fight as individuals seeking honor. They fought as one body, one will. A soldier would lay down their life without hesitation, knowing their death carried the whole forward. It was this unity the Council could never understand. The Council's admirals received their first grim lesson. Long-range sensors reported sudden losses. Outposts along the rim vanished without distress calls. Patrol fleets failed to return. Entire convoys went silent. When the data arrived, the truth became clear: small groups of human ships had struck with terrifying precision. No warnings. No wasted fire. A single barrage, and alien fleets were reduced to wreckage. Then silence again, as the humans disappeared back into the void. The aliens were used to wars of show and ritual, fleets posturing, commanders boasting before engaging. Humanity knew no such theater. They fought to win, nothing more. Panic spread in the chamber. They strike without honor. They vanish into darkness. They fight like predators. But an older admiral, scarred from centuries of campaigns, finally whispered the truth. No. They fight like survivors. On Earth's flagship, Admiral Marcus Hale stood with his officers. "The Council sees us as primitives," he said, voice steady. "They do not understand. We have lived with war since the first fire was lit on Earth. Our species was tempered in blood, in storm, in famine. We do not seek war, but when war is forced on us, we fight with everything we are." His eyes hardened as he turned to the comms officer. "Send the message." Across the galaxy, in every Council command hub, in every Admiral's chamber, on every bridge of every alien fleet, the same broadcast appeared. The screen filled with the face of Admiral Hale. Behind him stretched the massive shape of the UNS Titan, its cannons glowing faintly. His voice was calm, but it carried the weight of iron. "You declared war. Humanity accepts. We will not run. We will not bow. You will learn what it means to face Earth." For a moment, the galaxy was silent. Then, the Council's fleets began to move in desperation. But fear had already spread. The proudest admirals, once certain of victory, now hesitated. Their soldiers whispered in fear of the Deathworlders. And in the Council chamber, the delegates watched the human message replay again and again, their faces pale with dread. The arrogance that once filled the hall was gone. What remained was something the galaxy had not felt in centuries. Terror. As the human broadcast ends, alarms blare across Council space. Human fleets have crossed the border, and the first great battle is about to begin. The stars above the border world of Vanar glittered like cold fire. Into that silence, the Council's fleets gathered. Thousands of ships formed shimmering lines, sleek dreadnoughts with golden trim, cruisers shaped like silver wings, destroyers humming with plasma coils. Commanders barked orders, confident that numbers alone would crush the humans. Admiral's Wrath of the Kair hissed into his comms. "Remember, do not underestimate them. Strike hard, strike fast. Show these primates the power of the Council." The fleet roared forward, a storm of ships cutting through the void. But then, the stars blinked. From the darkness ahead, shadows emerged. Not dozens. Not hundreds. Entire swarms of black-holed giants moved in silence. Their hulls bore the white crest of Earth. The human fleet had arrived. On the bridge of the UNS Titan, Admiral Marcus Hale stood firm. Around him, officers worked with precision, their faces calm. "Enemy fleet approaching, Admiral. Numerical advantage is overwhelming." Hale nodded. His voice was steady, almost quiet. "Numbers do not win wars. Discipline does. Prepare the strike." The humans did not move at first. Their fleet drifted in silence, waiting. The aliens mistook this for fear. "They hesitate," laughed one Council commander. "Advance. Overrun them." And so the Golden Fleet surged ahead, weapons charging, banners glowing. That was when the humans vanished. The alien commanders blinked in confusion. On their scanners, the massive human warships disappeared. No signatures, no readings, just empty space. Panic rippled through the Council lines. "Where are they?" "Impossible, they were right in front of us." Suddenly, the void lit up. From behind asteroid belts, from the shadows of moons, from cloaks that masked their signatures, human destroyers emerged. Railguns fired with thunder. Missiles streaked like falling stars. In seconds, 3 Council cruisers exploded, their fragments scattering like shattered glass. Alien admirals screamed into their comms. "Form defense lines! Form defense lines!" But it was too late. The humans had already broken their formation. On board the UNS Resolute, cannons fired again and again, each shot precise, each strike devastating. Target acquired. Dreadnought down. Next target locked. Human doctrine was simple: waste nothing. Every missile found its mark. Every railgun pierced armor. Where the Council relied on intimidation and numbers, humanity relied on discipline and precision. In 20 minutes, the alien fleets had lost more ships than they had in entire wars. In the Council chamber, chaos erupted as reports flooded in. 40 vessels destroyed. They strike without pattern. No, they strike with perfect timing. Our dreadnought squadrons cannot hold them. Delegates shouted, some demanding reinforcements, others demanding surrender. The Speaker of War shouted over them all. Hold the line. The Council does not bow to primitives. But deep down, even he felt the tremor of fear. On the battlefield, silence fell for a moment. Between the burning wreckage, the UNS Titan advanced. Its colossal railguns charged with a hum like rolling thunder. Alien captains tried to retreat, but the Titan locked on. The blast came. One Council flagship, a ship of legend, shattered in a single strike. Its glowing hull broke apart, drifting lifeless through the void. The Council fleet froze. Generations of arrogance were burned away in one moment of horror. Admiral Hale's voice filled the comms, broadcast across the battle zone. "This is Admiral Hale of Earth. You declared war. You wanted to test humanity. This is your answer." The words were calm. Unshaken. And then, his fleet moved again. On the bridge of a Council carrier, Admiral Shratha's scales turned pale. His claws dug into the console as he watched another wave of his ships vanish in fire. They fight like no other," he whispered. A younger officer looked at him with wide eyes. "What do we do, Admiral?" Shratha's voice was hollow. "Pray they show mercy." But the humans showed none. Not yet. Their fleet pressed forward, carving through the alien armada like blades through cloth. Where alien ships fired in chaotic panic, human ships struck as one, their volleys synchronized, relentless. And through it all, the void was filled not with noise, but with silence. No human cheered. No human taunted. They fought in grim focus, every strike another line in a doctrine written by survival itself. As the battle rages, the Council watches in horror as the humans achieve the unthinkable. A single human destroyer breaks through the alien lines and destroys a Council dreadnought by itself. The screen fades with Admiral Hale's final words. "This is only the beginning." The battle reports spread like wildfire across the stars. The Council fleets, once thought invincible, had been shattered in their first clash with humanity. Entire squadrons lost. Dreadnoughts destroyed. Veterans humbled. The once proud Council chamber now echoed not with laughter, but with fear. Delegates shouted over one another, their voices breaking. They were supposed to be weak. "We sent 3 fleets, gone. Our dreadnought lines collapsed in less than an hour." The Speaker of War slammed a clawed fist on the crystal table. His scaled face twitched with rage, but even he could not hide the fear in his eyes. "Compose yourselves," he roared. "One battle does not decide a war. The humans are clever, yes, but they cannot withstand the full weight of the Council. We outnumber them 20 to 1. Yet even as he spoke, a quiet murmur spread across the chamber. "They fight like predators. No, worse. They fight like survivors." And what of the rumors? The room fell silent. From the intelligence division came whispers that chilled the chamber. Secret reports claimed Earth had built something greater than even the Titan-class dreadnoughts. Not just ships. Not just weapons. Something beyond comprehension. An ultimate weapon. The Zell delegate leaned forward, his pale face trembling. We intercepted fragments of human transmissions. They spoke of a project. Something vast. Something that could change the balance of power forever. Laughter once would have followed such words. But no one laughed now. Instead, every alien face turned pale. Meanwhile, across the stars, humanity advanced. In orbit of captured Council outposts, human soldiers marched with grim silence. Their armor was black, their movements precise. Alien prisoners stared in awe and terror. These were not undisciplined warriors. These were soldiers forged in fire. On board the UNS Titan, Admiral Marcus Hale stood before a galactic star map. Red zones marked the Council's control, spreading like a web across the galaxy. Slowly, methodically, the humans carved through that web. "Admiral," said his officer, "scouts confirm the Council is reinforcing their borders. They are gathering everything they have." Hale studied the map. His jaw tightened. "Good," he said. "Let them gather. When the storm breaks, we will face them all at once." Back in the Council chamber, paranoia spread. They must have allies. No young species could achieve this alone. They built their fleets in secret for decades. How did we not see? We underestimated them. And now, we may not survive them. The Speaker of War silenced the chamber with a glare. "We are the Council. We have ruled for centuries. If we must, we will burn their world until nothing remains." But even as he spoke, a messenger stumbled in, face pale. "Speaker, a human fleet has appeared in orbit above one of our core worlds." Gasps erupted. Did they attack? Did they destroy it? The messenger shook his head, trembling. "No. They wait. Their weapons are charged, but they have not fired." Confusion rippled through the chamber. Why would humans come so close to a Council heartworld, yet not strike? On the UNS Resolute, Admiral Hale's eyes were fixed on the glowing planet below. Billions of alien lives pulsed beneath its oceans and cities. His officers waited for the order to fire. But Hale's voice was calm. "No. Not yet. Let them see us. Let them feel us above their skies. Fear will do what fire cannot." And so the human fleet waited, silent and dark, hovering above the alien world like the shadow of death. From the ground, alien civilians looked up at the sky. Through clouds and atmosphere, they saw them, colossal black ships, blotting out the stars. The sight spread faster than any broadcast. Stories spread in whispers, "The humans are here. They could destroy us at any moment." Back in the Council chamber, panic reached its breaking point. "They are toying with us. They want us to beg." "No, they are showing us restraint," whispered one elder. "They could have destroyed that world. But they chose not to. That is worse. It means they are in control." The delegates looked at one another, realization sinking in. The Council, once feared across the galaxy, was no longer the master. Humanity was. And still, the rumors grew. What was Earth's ultimate weapon? What lay behind their fleets, hidden deeper still? Reports whispered of massive energy signatures moving through the Sol system. A construction project larger than anything in history. A weapon so vast it could not simply destroy fleets, it could change the balance of the galaxy forever. In the chamber, the Speaker of War receives a final report. A single image flickers onto the Council's screens. Deep in the Sol system, a colossal shadow moves between the planets. Larger than any ship ever built, glowing with power. The aliens freeze as the whispers grow louder. The humans have built something we cannot stop. The galaxy held its breath. For days, strange signals pulsed from the Sol system. Energy readings too large to come from any fleet, too focused to be a star. The Council's spies risked everything to send back fragments of data. Each image was worse than the last. And then, the full transmission arrived. The Council chamber darkened as a massive projection flickered to life. Gasps echoed through the hall. It was not a fleet. It was not a station. It was something far greater. A colossal structure drifted between Mars and Jupiter. Its frame stretched wider than moons, its hull bristling with towers, cannons, and black armor that swallowed starlight. Vast rings rotated slowly around its core, humming with unimaginable power. It looked less like a ship and more like a piece of the cosmos itself, forged into a weapon. The council delegates stared in silence, their faces pale. One whispered, What have they built?" Another answered with trembling lips, "A planet killer." "Perhaps more." The speaker of war leaned forward, eyes wide. "Impossible. No species could construct such a thing without being seen." But the evidence burned in front of them. Humanity had not only hidden fleets. They had hidden a nightmare. In the Sol system, aboard the UNS Titan, Admiral Marcus Hale stood on the command deck, staring at the shadow of Earth's greatest project. The crew had a name for it. The Judgment Engine. It was not just a weapon of destruction. It was a symbol. A machine built in silence, powered by the strength of a death world, hidden from the Council for decades. A fusion of Earth's greatest minds, it drew energy from captured stars, redirected gravity, and carried weapons capable of disabling fleets with a single strike. Even its silhouette struck terror. Where alien superweapons were gaudy, glowing, meant to inspire awe, humanity's creation was silent, black, and merciless. It was not made to be admired. It was made to end wars. On its surface, engineers moved like ants across endless hull plates. Railguns the size of mountains aligned. Energy cores pulsed with light. Every system hummed with readiness. Inside its command chamber, human officers worked in silence. No celebration, no pride. Only duty. Commander Elena Ruiz stood at one of the consoles. Her voice was low, firm. "The engine is fully armed, Admiral. All systems await your command." Hale's eyes stayed fixed on the view. "The Council wanted war," he said quietly. "Now they will see the price." Back in the Council chamber, panic erupted. This is madness. They could erase worlds. They are not primitives, they are predators. The speaker of war slammed the table. "We must destroy it. Gather every fleet, every weapon we have. Strike Sol now before it is too late." But his words sounded hollow. For in every delegate's heart, the truth was clear. No fleet could stand against this. On alien worlds, fear spread faster than light. Civilians stared at intercepted broadcasts showing blurry outlines of the Judgment Engine. Rumors became legend overnight. Some called it a Star Eater. Others whispered it could shatter time itself. Children asked their parents if the humans would destroy their skies. Parents had no answers. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy trembled. Not before the Council, but before Earth. Admiral Hale stood silent as the Judgment Engine powered up. A deep hum shook the void. Space itself seemed to bend around the machine. Its rings glowed with crimson light. "Target acquired," Ruiz said. The Council's central world. The crew waited for Hale's order. Every finger hovered over controls, every system armed. Hale's voice was steady, calm, unshaken. "Let them see." The engine pulsed. Across half the galaxy, sensors screamed as the Judgment Engine unleashed its first test. A wave of energy swept through space, not fire, not destruction, but silence. Every Council ship within range went dark. Entire fleets powered down, drifting helplessly, their weapons useless, their engines dead. No explosions. No death. Just a terrifying show of control. In the Council chamber, alarms blared. Admirals shouted in despair. "Our fleets, they are disabled. We cannot fire. We are defenseless." The delegates stared in shock as the reports confirmed it. Humanity could end fleets without firing a single shot. And then, a new broadcast filled the chamber. Admiral Hale's face appeared, calm as ever. "This is the power you forced us to reveal. This is the Judgment Engine. We will not destroy you today. But know this, every world you hold, every fleet you command, every council seat you sit upon, remains alive only because we allow it. The chamber fell silent. No one dared speak. The projection faded, leaving only Admiral Hale's final words. The age of the council is over. The age of humanity has begun. The delegates sat frozen, the echo of those words heavier than any cannon fire. And deep in the void, the judgment engine rotated slowly, its rings glowing like the eyes of a god. The galaxy held its breath. Council fleets drifted powerless in the void. Their engines were silent, their weapons disabled. The judgment engine's pulse had left them blind and broken, like toys abandoned in space. For the first time in history, the great empires of the Council were at the mercy of a single world. Earth. On the command deck of the UNS Titan, Admiral Marcus Hale stood before his officers. Behind him, the vast image of the judgment engine glowed across the main screen, its colossal rings turning slowly. The silence in the room was heavy. Every officer knew what the Council expected. They expected humanity to unleash fire, to burn worlds, erase fleets, shatter the galaxy. But humanity was not so simple. Commander Elena Ruiz broke the silence first. Her voice was sharp. "We should finish this, Admiral." They declared war. They mocked us, humiliated us, tried to erase us. Why should we give them mercy? Destroy the Council world now, and the galaxy will never threaten Earth again. Her words found support. Several officers nodded, faces grim. "They will never stop hating us," another officer said. "If we leave them standing, they'll rebuild and strike again." But then, an older voice rose from the corner. It was Dr. Robert Chen, Earth's chief strategist, his eyes weary but clear. "If we destroy them," he said softly, "we become what they always claimed we were. Monsters. Tyrants. We will rule by fear, not respect. And fear is brittle. It breaks the moment someone stronger arrives." He looked around the room. Humanity did not rise from a death world to become executioners. We rose to survive. To endure. To prove that no force in the galaxy could break us. That does not require genocide. The room grew quiet again. The debate was no longer about tactics. It was about what kind of future humanity would choose. In the council chamber, the delegates sat frozen as they awaited humanity's decision. The speaker of war paced in panic. "They will destroy us," he hissed. "Why else reveal such a weapon? They have no mercy." But an elder delegate shook his head. "You do not understand them. These humans, they are not like us. They do not follow our rules. They fight differently. They think differently. And perhaps, they will choose differently." The council waited in dread, every second stretching like an eternity. Back aboard the UNS Titan, Admiral Hale stood silent for a long time. His officers watched, waiting for the final command. When he spoke, his voice was calm, steady as stone. "Transmit to the judgment engine. Prepare to fire." Gasps rippled across the bridge. Some officers smiled grimly, believing the order meant annihilation. Others looked down, uneasy, as though a heavy weight pressed upon them. Commander Ruiz spoke again, softer this time. "What are you going to do, Admiral?" Hale's eyes did not leave the screen. "Remind the galaxy that humanity is not here to destroy," he said, "but to decide." The judgment engine's rings accelerated, glowing with a crimson light that turned night into dawn across half the Sol system. Energy surged like a storm across its colossal frame. Council sensors screamed as they detected the buildup. Worlds across the galaxy watched in terror. Civilians fell to their knees, certain the end had come. The speaker of war shouted, clawing at his console. "They are firing on us. The humans are going to erase our world." The chamber erupted in panic. Delegates screamed, begged, prayed. The galaxy braced for death. And then, the judgment engine fired. But it was not destruction. The wave of energy swept across space, vast and unstoppable. Yet instead of burning worlds, it silenced them. Every alien warship, every defense station, every orbital cannon across the Council's core systems went dark. Engines died. Weapons froze. Shields collapsed. Entire fleets hung helpless, drifting like leaves in the wind. The Council world itself trembled as its planetary defenses shut down one by one, powerless against the pulse. No fire fell. No cities burned. No civilians died. Humanity had not destroyed them. Humanity had disarmed them. On the UNS Titan, Admiral Hale's voice carried across the stars. You declared war. You sought our destruction. But humanity does not burn the innocent. We do not shatter worlds without reason. What we take with purpose. His eyes narrowed, his voice firm as iron. Know this, your fleets are ours to break. Your weapons are ours to silence. Your council stands only because we allow it. The war ends when you accept one truth: humanity is no longer beneath you. We are above you. In the council chamber, silence reigned. The delegates, once proud rulers, now stared in horror and awe. The speaker of war slumped into his seat, his claws trembling. They could have destroyed us, he whispered. Instead, they chose to dominate us. And in that moment, every alien in the chamber understood the truth. The galaxy was no longer ruled by the Council. It was ruled by Earth. The judgment engine loomed in silence, its rings still glowing faintly. Across the galaxy, billions of eyes stared upward in fear. Humanity had shown mercy, but also absolute power. The Council waited for their final command, knowing the last choice belonged not to them, but to Earth. The Council chamber was silent. The great amphitheater, once filled with laughter and arrogance, now lay heavy with fear. Delegates sat frozen, staring at the last transmission of Admiral Hale. His words echoed still. We are above you. For centuries, the Council had ruled as unquestioned masters. Worlds trembled at their decrees. Fleets obeyed without question. But now, the very rulers of the galaxy were powerless. Their fleets were dark. Their defenses useless. Their pride shattered. Humanity had not destroyed them. Humanity had humiliated them. Above alien worlds, black silhouettes of human warships drifted like shadows. They did not fire. They did not burn cities. They simply remained, silent, watching, reminding every being below who truly held power now. Children pointed at the skies, whispering, "The humans are here." Parents lowered their voices in fear, "Do not anger them. They could end us." In every corner of the galaxy, the legend of Earth spread. Not as a myth, but as a living truth. On the command deck of the UNS Titan, Admiral Marcus Hale stood with his officers. Around him, the star map glowed, no longer red with Council dominance. Instead, system after system flickered uncertain, trembling at humanity's presence. Commander Elena Ruiz leaned forward. The Council will bend, Admiral. They have no choice. Dr. Robert Chen nodded. The question is not if they surrender. The question is what we do after. Hale's gaze remained steady. We will not be tyrants. We will not be conquerors. But the Council as it was, corrupt, arrogant, blind, it is finished. From now on, if there is to be order, it will be rebuilt under our watch. In the Council chamber, debate broke into chaos. Some species demanded peace at any cost. Others wept, begging for mercy. A few still tried to roar defiance, but their voices rang hollow in the silence of the chamber. Finally, the speaker of war, once proud and fierce, rose with shaking legs. His scaled hands gripped the table. His voice cracked. We yield." The words spread like fire. Across the chamber, across the galaxy, the meaning was the same. The Council had fallen. Human soldiers marched through alien strongholds, not as destroyers, but as overseers. They restored order where riots broke out. They disarmed fleets without firing a shot. Everywhere they went, their discipline and silence carried more weight than any speech. The galaxy saw not cruelty, but strength. Not chaos, but control. And slowly, the whispers began. The humans do not seek our end. They seek to rule. Perhaps it is better this way. On Earth, people gathered under glowing skies, watching the broadcasts of humanity's victory. The planet that once stood mocked and belittled by the Council now stood at the heart of galactic power. Every insult, every humiliation, every dismissal had been answered. Earth had not only survived. It had risen. In the Council's former hall, Admiral Hale appeared by hologram before the humble delegates. His voice was calm, ironclad, unshaken. Your fleets are broken. Your weapons are dust. Your council has failed. From this day forward, the galaxy will not be ruled by arrogance, but by truth. Humanity will guide this order. Not through fear, but through strength. Not through conquest, but through resolve. He paused, letting the words sink into every trembling heart. You declared war on Earth. You thought to erase us. Instead, it is your empire that has ended. The Council as you knew it is gone. In its place rises something new. The law of humanity. The chamber erupted in cries, protests, and whispers. But no one defied him. They could not. For every world knew, Earth's armada waited above. The judgment engine still glowed, silent and patient, its shadow long and unyielding. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy shifted. Old alliances dissolved. New treaties were signed, not under the Council's hand, but under humanity's. The arrogant empires bent their knees. The proud rulers lowered their banners. And in their place, the white crest of Earth spread across the stars. The galaxy whispered one truth. Do not provoke Earth. Do not challenge humanity. They are the new law among the stars. Above it all, the judgment engine drifted in silence. Not a weapon of fire, but a reminder. A symbol that the galaxy would never again laugh at Earth. Humanity had risen from a death world, forged in storms and blood, mocked by the Council, and now, they stood unmatched. The Council was broken. The galaxy forever changed. And humanity had claimed its throne among the stars. The last image lingers, the vast black silhouette of the judgment engine turning slowly above Earth, its rings glowing faintly, as the voice of Admiral Hale echoes one last time. We are humanity. And we are here to stay.